Hello and welcome to this Friday edition of the World Report with me, Arjun Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. Wildfires are raging across Los Angeles, turning the skies red, destroying homes and businesses and blanketing the region with smoke and debris. The largest fire has grown to nearly 3,000 acres and forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate. LA is continuing to be menaced by wildfires, with the latest blaze, the Sunset Fire, wreaking havoc to the Hollywood Hills, where the iconic Hollywood sign sits. Now, sustained powerful winds reaching nearly 100 miles per hour are driving fast-moving wildfires near Los Angeles, spewing smoke, destroying homes, and closing roads. My colleague Vishnu Shom gets you this exclusive report from Ground Zero.
This is one of the worst hit areas in the greater Los Angeles area. You can see fire trucks behind me, and they're actually trying to put out fires in this particular home. This entire area has been entirely burnt out. You can see the fire service people walking in over here, the firefighters working over here. We can't get in beyond this particular point, but they're working over here. You can see a great deal of damage in this particular area. The smoke is still coming out of some of the areas over here, and what we're going to actually do is walk through some of these areas to give you a sense of what it looks like. And everywhere that you see, there's devastation. So just follow me as we, Stephen, go to this area and just point out that there's still smoke coming up from these homes which were completely destroyed, as you can see over here. And there are any number of homes which have been entirely destroyed. So there is smoke, which you can see coming out of these structures. A lot of stuff burning, we can smell it. There is ash in the air as well. If we move across this road, and this seems to be an affluent part of this area. We can see cars which have been entirely burnt out, and home after home has been completely destroyed. These are the savings of people completely destroyed, decimated, and this house behind me destroyed as well. Now, I'm just going to update our viewers on what the overall situation is. The situation remains tense because even though right now it seems that the wind speeds have come down, they aren't entirely certain that the winds have gone away. And until the winds go away, there is a huge problem over here because it's the winds which are spreading the fires. There are at least 4 to 5 major fires in the greater Los Angeles area, and all of these are uncontained. And it's these embers which reach out far, which trigger fires in areas which are incredibly dry. There is usually rainfall which happens. There is rainfall which happens this time of the year. That's not happened. There are wildfires which take place across this region, but that happens in the month of October by and large. What's taking place now is entirely unexpected. Billions have been lost across the region. The sense is that when this all gets figured out, you're looking at the most expensive natural disaster in the history of the United States of America.
Outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party has said it will choose a new leader on the 9th of March ahead of the 2025 elections, for which polls show the party is indeed in a very weak position. Now, the Prime Minister announced on Monday that he will step down in the coming months after 9 years in power, bowing to the pressure from lawmakers alarmed by the party's miserable showing in pre-election polls. Trudeau said that he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal Party leader until the party chooses a new chief. Meanwhile, Chandra Arya, the Indian-born Member of Parliament in Canada, has announced his intention to run for the post of Prime Minister and the leader of the Liberal Party, following Trudeau's resignation as Prime Minister earlier this week. Now, Mr. Arya, who hails from a village in India's Karnataka, emigrated to Canada about 2 decades ago with his wife and son. He was first elected to the Canadian House of Commons in 2015 as part of the Liberal wave led by Trudeau himself. Now, the Liberal Party had then won the majority number of seats. Elon Musk took his endorsement of Germany's far-right party to the next level on Thursday, hosting a live chat with its front woman, Alice Weidel. The 74-minute conversation ranged around energy policy, German bureaucracy, Adolf Hitler, Mars, and the meaning of life. The world's richest man unequivocally urged Germans to back Alternative für Deutschland, or the AfD, in the forthcoming elections. It's the tech billionaire's latest controversial foray into European politics. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Correa Machado was seen exiting an anti-government protest in Caracas on Thursday before her team reported her arrest by security forces. Moments later, there were official denials of her arrest in a confusing episode that capped a day of protest seeking to block President Nicolas Maduro from clinging to power. It remained unclear what exactly happened after Machado bid farewell to hundreds of supporters, hopped on a motorcycle and raced with a security convoy down a main Caracas avenue. At 3:21 p.m. local time, Machado's press team said in a social media post that security forces have quote-unquote violently intercepted her convoy. The United States has no current plans to increase its military presence in Greenland, the U.S. Embassy in Copenhagen said on Thursday, following renewed interest by incoming President Donald Trump in acquiring the Arctic island. Trump, who takes office on the 20th of January, said this week that Washington control of the strategically important Arctic island was an absolute necessity and did not rule out using military or economic action such as tariffs against Denmark to make it happen. Meanwhile, Greenland's Prime Minister has called for unity, urging citizens not to panic after Trump's repeated calls for the island nation to be included into the U.S. territory. Mute Iga said he understood many people may be concerned after the incoming U.S. president declined to rule out using military and economic force to gain control of Greenland, but called on his fellow citizens to put aside differences and stand together. His government released a statement on Wednesday evening reiterating Greenland's right to self-determination, adding that it looks forward to establishing contact with the Trump administration. The U.S. Supreme Court has narrowly denied Donald Trump's request to delay his criminal hush money sentencing, clearing the way for the president-elect to be sentenced Friday morning in New York. 4 of the 9 justices indicated they would have granted Trump's request to halt his sentencing. However, Chief Justice John Roberts and Trump appointee Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the court's 3 liberal justices, in fact, to deny Trump the relief he sought. On the other hand, a federal appeals court has cleared the way for the public release of special counsel Jack Smith's report on the 2020 election interference case against Trump over objections of the president-elect. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has said a meeting was being set up between him and Russian President Vladimir Putin, but the Republican offered no timeline for talks between the two leaders. Trump offered no timeline for a meeting. Trump's return to the White House on the 20th of January has sparked hope of a diplomatic resolution to end Moscow's invasion of Ukraine that began in Feb 2022. But it has also led fears in Kiev that a quick peace could rather come at a high price for Ukraine. Lebanon's parliament voted to elect General Joseph Aoun, commander of the Lebanese armed forces, as the country's new president, ending a years-long leadership vacuum that hobbled the government, delayed key reforms, and raised fears of a wider collapse as the nation faced numerous crises. It's time we slip into a short break. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching the World Report. Several weather monitoring agencies have announced that the Earth recorded its hottest ever temperature in 2024, with such a big jump that the planet temporarily passed a major symbolic climate threshold. Last year's global average temperature easily passed 2023's record heat and kept pushing even higher. It surpassed the long-term warming limit of 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 1800s and was called by the 2015 Paris Climate Pact, according to the European Commission's Copernicus Climate Service, the United Kingdom's Meteorology Office, and Japan's Weather Agency.
Global Climate Highlights 2024 released today show that at global level last year was the hottest year on record going back to 1850, with global average temperature anomalies 1.6 degrees above pre-industrial level, exceeding the emblematic 1.5 degree goal of the Paris Agreement.
An international team of scientists announced Thursday that they've successfully drilled one of the oldest ice cores yet, penetrating nearly 2.8 kilometers to Arctic bedrock to reach ice they say is at least 1.2 million years old. Analysis of the ancient ice is expected to show how Earth's atmosphere and climate have evolved. That should provide insight into how the ice age cycles have changed and may even help in understanding how atmospheric carbon has changed climate.
Looking at the climate record stored in the Epica core, we know that also in the warmest period of our climate history, the Earth, the greenhouse concentration, so CO2 and methane, was never above the concentration that we are observing over the last 150 years.
Google and Microsoft have donated $1 million each to Donald Trump's inauguration fund, following in the footsteps of other major companies including Amazon, Meta, OpenAI, and even Uber. A slew of other major companies made hefty donations to Trump's inauguration fund in the last month. Now, the fund will cover functions and activities connected with this ceremony. Amazon, Meta, and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman have all made donations of $1 million, as well as Toyota and Uber. The contributions, which have helped Trump's inaugural committee raises a record $170 million in donations, appear to be an attempt by tech giants to curry good favor with Trump ahead of his second term. By comparison, Joe Biden's inaugural ceremony raised only $63 million back in 2021, while Barack Obama's inaugurations raised $53 million in 2009 and $42 million in 2013. Global banks will cut as many as 200,000 jobs in the next 3 to 5 years as artificial intelligence encroaches on tasks currently carried out by human workers. Now, this is according to Bloomberg Intelligence. Chief Information and Technology officers surveyed for BI indicated that on average, they expect a net 3% of their workforce to be culled, according to a report published Thursday. Now, back office, middle office, and operations are likely to be most at risk. This is according to a senior analyst who wrote the report. Customer services could see changes as bots manage client functions now, while know your customer duties would also be vulnerable. Any jobs involving routine, repetitive tasks are at risk, he said. But AI will not eliminate them fully, rather it will lead to workforce transformation. Oil prices rose in early Asian trade and were back on track for a third straight week of gains, with icy conditions in parts of the United States and Europe driving up fuel demand for heating. Now, Brent crude futures climbed 40 cents or 0.5% to $77.32 a barrel at 6:06:02 GMT. Meanwhile, US West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 38 cents, also 0.5%, to reach $74.30. Over the 3 weeks ending the 10th of January, Brent has advanced 6% while the WTI has jumped 7%. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau criticized President-elect Donald Trump's proposed U.S. tariffs on Canadian products in a meeting with American business leaders on Thursday. Now, Trudeau said the step would have negative impacts on both countries. Trump says he will impose 25% tariffs on all Canadian imports unless Ottawa boosts border security. On Tuesday, the president-elect floated the idea of turning Canada, in fact, into a U.S. state. And at the 18th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, women amongst India's growing diaspora are at the forefront of creating community service partnerships between India and the world. From social work to building women-led companies to sensitizing their country about India, diaspora women are playing a pivotal role in creating greater connect between India and the world. NDTV World's Gauri Dwivedi spoke to a power-packed panel of diaspora speakers, or India's diaspora divas. Listen in.
What this means to you, the importance of women and the importance of having a diaspora dialogue focusing on women.
I think India today really is moving towards empowering women in all aspects, and having provided us with such a respectable and such an honorable position and a place to speak on such an important topic is really very important. Thank you so much. Yes.
Shalette, you are from Jamaica. Talk to us about the connect as far as Jamaica, India is concerned, and also the fact that women-led businesses, women-led organizations, how much they are building the bridges between India and Jamaica.
I think it's amazing that we get this opportunity to talk about what women are doing, and Jamaica and India has a 180-year history, and over the past few years that's only been getting better, and Jamaican-owned businesses by Indian diaspora are also growing, and I think it's a tremendous opportunity for us to use our position as women to ensure that we get our part of that ever-growing pie.
Dr. Indrani, you are pretty much representing Trinidad and Tobago here. Talk to us about women empowerment, because that's an area that you work very closely on. And what's been your experience like in terms of getting Indian women and building that connect with Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, you mean both from India and Trinidad?
Yes.
Yes, well, it's been a challenge because we don't network as neatly as the men do. But we are certainly growing that now with our women here. And I'm so glad for the opportunity to mix the different diasporas. Usually we exist in silos, but it's wonderful to come together. Indeed. As women.
Yes. Sakala, there's an area that you work very closely on, which is textiles. And I think that's one sector where women dominate. They dominate in terms of employment, unfortunately not in terms of returns. Tell us what it's been like so far.
So one of the things that, hi, thank you for having me. One of the things that I've found over the years is there's not been enough focus on India-led businesses, whether it is men or women. Fashion is one of the biggest businesses in the world, $40 billion worldwide, and India has a significant chunk of it for luxury. So I'm trying to focus on sustainability and luxury fashion of India with the diaspora all over the world, getting to know a little more about the Indian brands and proudly encouraging it.
Ms. Sagar, you are, I know you're from Indonesia. What I was coming to was you are really taking the Indonesia-India Business Connect forward. Talk to us about women-led entrepreneurs, women-led companies and women entrepreneurs in your experience.
Yes, I thank you. And it is very important for women to support each other. And I think we are all change makers. And the more together, we are stronger. So in the Business Connect, it is women who take other women forward. And I think in Indonesia, women are very empowered. And I think this is something that we all need to learn from each other. How to be stronger together, how to support each other and take each other forward.
I want to ask from you, ma'am, how important, come forward, ma'am, how important has this diaspora dialogue been for women and from women's point of view?
I think it's very important because it's not putting a very important topic on the agenda. It's also a crucial part of Viksit Bharat, And if we succeed to empower women and help them and support them to reach in leading positions, women together with men can make history. India can be a role model for all the entire world. So I'm really proud of the Indian government who is putting this on agenda.
All right, Sudha, you're coming from Tanzania. Tanzania has a very large, vibrant, prosperous Indian community there. Talk to us about your experience, areas that you're focusing on, and how much do you think movements like Pravasi Bharati really build on those connects?
This is indeed a great platform for us. And as a mental professional, I always vouch for the mental health of the women around the world. And my one Shakti, what I think, or my one voice is that we women, we need to have a choice to choose whatever we want to do. That is the freedom.
Great. And ma'am, let me ask from you in terms of specifically Eastern Europe, Slovenia and several other regions. How do you see the diaspora connect there? How do you see the kind of programs that are being led there? And I want to ask you specifically when it comes to Nari Shakti, how is it that's being bolstered?
I live in Slovenia since last 50 years, and Nari Shakti is very, very strong in Slovenia. All the Slovenian women, they work. They don't want to stay home and be commanded by their husbands. No way. They don't take any commands. They are all working in the home. They work in the house. They take care of their babies and keep full-time job in their offices.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.